and I'm going to show you kind of our setup and walk you through the lab. So we have our 4 patients, Mr. Smith, Mr. Jones, Mr. Green, Mr. Brown. They each have a plastic slide, and we found each one of their blood types. So on the bottle, this one says Mr. Smith, this one's Mr. Jones, Mr. Green, and Mrs. Brown. This is simulated blood, so I'm not actually working with real blood, but it's going to simulate what it's like when you do blood typing to figure out what type of blood each person has. I also want to preference each person has a different type of blood. Let me say that again. Each person has a different type of blood. So the first thing I'm going to do is do Mr. Smith's. I'm going to take his blood and I'm going to put it into our 2 wells of blood. Okay? So this well, if you could see, says A, and this well says B. Okay? In the A well, I'm going to put anti-A serum. What does that mean? That means if I put this in here and there is A blood in there, it's going to clump up or agglutinate. Okay? Anti-A attacks A. So I'm going to put 4 or 5 drops of anti-A in the A, and then here we have anti-B serum. So what does that mean? If there are B antibodies in there, it's going to attack them, so I'm going to put 4 or 5 drops of anti-B serum in here. Okay, and then the last thing that we're going to do is we are going to use a toothpick, and we are going to mix them together. So I'm going to stir for about 30 seconds. Flip it over. And I'm going to stir for about 30 seconds or so. Sometimes it takes a little while.